November still hitting hard in much of the country. Buffalo, New York receiving its second wave of snow today, despite already being buried under 5.5 feet of the stuff. Parts of northwest New York are expected to receive an additional 2 feet by tonight. Same for those on the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest, where snow records have been smashed in multiple locations. Residents have been so surprised by the wild weather that they've resorted to pushing cars off the road, shoveling tunnels. Wow, looks like fun. Clearly, the Buffalo Bills' toughest opponent this week won't be the New York Jets. It's 220,000 tons of snow. Did you hear that number? That has turned Ralph Wilson Stadium into a glorified iceberg. Vowing to clear the field in time for Sunday's game, the team went in search of some help, offering $10 an hour and free tickets to anyone willing to show up and grab a shovel and start digging. Here to discuss all of it, James Frischling, president of NewOak. We also have Todd Schonenberger is back with us as well. What do you guys think? Would you get your shovel and go on out? $10 in tickets.
I mean, I'll say this. The minimum wage in New York is $8.75 right now. So this is a money show. That's a 14% premium to the minimum wage. But I guess my point's going to be is this the focus? There's a state of emergency. There's a driving ban.
Wow.
6 deaths. Should they be focusing right now on a football game?
On the game? I don't know. It's always about football.
They're big up there. I'm telling you. Look, I think it's a great idea. But how many tickets do you get, though? I mean, do you have to clear out one section for one ticket? Or
That's true.
And can I show my electric one? I mean, that would be the other thing.
Those are really good questions. I know that they think it's going to take 17.6 million shovelfuls to get the snow cleared up. I mean, some of the stats are truly amazing. By the way, they finished this $130 million stadium renovation this summer. They got bigger gates, a bigger scoreboard, all this stuff, but they didn't put a retractable roof on the stadium. Do you think they're rethinking that decision right now?
No, come on.
No?
It's natural football. I mean, Green Bay doesn't have one either. I mean, why should they? I mean, everybody loves the experience.
Why
of being
should they?
outdoors.
Why should they?
This is a once in 2 year
I don't know. The
thing,
NFL
right?
can move the game. They can postpone it. I mean, right now it looks
sounds like it might be.
It's 4 times the amount of snow that they've ever had in the stadium. They are going to need at least 500 fans working in 3 shifts in order to shovel out the stadium. This is not a joke. They've got a real problem on their hands up there.
The math says it would take weeks, even with 500 workers working 24/7 to clear this out. But again, it's a good temporary employment. Again, it's a good wage. You compare it to the folks that were hanging from the World Trade Center tower who were making $29 and $30 respectively.
Oh my goodness.
I think
and how much fun is this going to be? This is wonderful. Look, the other side, let's break some news here for your viewers. It actually sounds like they're going to push this game to Monday, and it could actually be played in a different city. So that just came out a few minutes ago. So
I think
Buffalo,
it's ESPN that's reporting that right now. I want to say I'm not sure we've confirmed that. So
and Buffalo, but here's the thing: Buffalo fans go crazy when they have one of their home games, say in Toronto, and if you have to move this game, I don't care who they're playing. They're playing the Jets. It doesn't matter. Buffalo fans love the Buffalo Bills, just like they love that.
So you're
hockey
saying they're
team.
going to go? They're going to be miserable?
They're going to go
protest?
there. They're going to do it. They're going to take control. It's going to be a wonderful atmosphere.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. It is a hefty issue with a $2 trillion global price tag. A new report listing obesity among the top economic problems in the world, trailing smoking and war among man-made issues. And the outlook moving forward is grim, predicting that nearly half of the world's population will be overweight or obese within 15 years. Half of the world's population. That is amazing. Joining me now on the phone, Dr. David Samani from Lenox Hill Hospital. We also have James Frischling here with us on the set, along with our own Tracy Burns. Dr. Samani, I'm going to start with you. I mean, it's a huge epidemic. Is it as big of a problem as they're making it out to be?
Yes, it is. And Melissa, what's going on in this country, and I've said it before, there's really no politician, and nobody can really balance the budget in healthcare unless you take care of obesity, because obesity is not just one disease. And obesity is on the rise, and I've said it many times that our food chain is completely contaminated. We're consuming a lot more food than we should, and we're not walking around, we're not exercising, and this is across the board all over. Obesity should be thought of not just a little fat around the belly, because it secretes a lot of hormones. It affects the kidneys. The biggest problem with obesity is diabetes. These two is almost sister and brother. They go hand in hand. And when you're obese, your insulin won't work. So with diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, you have something called metabolic syndrome, and that's what leads to heart disease. So it's a whole spectrum of disease, and that's what we should be thinking about obesity.
Yeah, I mean, Tracy, it's amazing to me the stat that half of the world's population will be overweight or obese. I mean, a lot of the problem is that fattening food is cheap.
That's exactly right, because there's more obese people in low-income parts of the world for that exact reason. It's got to take a multitude of things, though, Melissa. There's not one answer to this. I mean, Dr. Samadi pointed out all the diseases that are a result of this, but you can't fix it with one swoop. We're talking about, so you got to eat better. You got to take personal responsibility. You got to work out. I mean, it's a cluster of things. It's not like someone's going to come up with a magic pill.
Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, I was reading that this issue is 2.5 times larger, the overweight obesity issue, than, let's say, the undernourished and starving issues.
That's amazing.
And yet one is somewhat self-induced. I get the processed food issue, but if the remedies are smaller portions, if the remedy is more exercise or healthier meals in schools, I have a hard time figuring out why we can't solve it, because that's something that I think we should be able to address.
Well, let's ask Dr. Samani. Why is this getting worse instead of better?
Well, I think, number one, you can think of it as, I think it's a rich man syndrome. I think as, there's more money in the world, and as industrial countries we're seeing more and more, and you're right, the food is not that expensive, we eat more. And nowadays, with $7, $8, you can get your French fries, you can get your burgers, you can get your soda, and also the amount of salt that is in all of this food and the fat, the saturated fat, it's killing us, and that's what's going on. Part of the problem is also internet. Before internet, we were walking more. We were really going to there were no escalators, there were stairs. With internet, what happened was we started sitting more. We're not moving as much. We're behind these computers. We're behind these smartphones.
Okay. No, that's a very good segue into our next issue, because another big medical problem on the horizon, but we probably brought this one on ourselves just like the other one. Doctors now warning of a phenomenon known as text neck, caused by staring at your phone all day long, apparently looking down at a 60-degree angle, is the equivalent of carrying a 60-pound child on your neck. So we're ruining, I mean, you talk about electronics making us fat. It's also ruining our necks. How big of a problem is this, Dr. Samadi?
Well, cervical spine arthritis is a real entity for a lot of us who are using these smartphones and iPads. Personally, you know that I do a lot of robotic surgery for prostate cancer. So for the last 12, 13 years, not starting to suffer from it, but I've been sitting looking at this robot for hours and hours in a day, which is very similar to sitting and looking at your iPad and all these phones. So over time, you start having a wear and tear of your C-spine, and it is a real problem, a real entity. And unless you get away, start stretching and stand against the wall and really stretch your chest out to relax those muscles, you start to have a lot of pain and problems.
We're all going to do that on the way out. Tracy, you with me? You with me?
But I worry more about your eyes. You're looking at these little things all day long. Your ears, people have headphones in. And by the way, the billboard industry is going to hell in a handbag. There's nobody looking up at them anymore.
That's right. All right, thanks, guys. The fallout continues for